Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Thomas Reacts here on the 360 experience with myself, Thomas Mabaso. So guys, yesterday we saw President Ramaphosa giving State of the Nation address. It is a shameful State of the Nation address, man. I think many people were upset after President Ramaphosa gave that address because many people in the country right now, they don't feel like President Ramaphosa is actually serious about the problems that are facing South Africa. I'm saying this because yesterday when I was listening to President Ramaphosa, I got the feeling that the president actually does not want to acknowledge the problems that are facing South Africa today. The president would love to live in an idea that South Africa is a functioning country. I mean, I don't understand how South Africa is such a broken country and you have a president of the country giving State of the Nation address to the people of this country and he continues to lie in front of everyone else. I mean, like, if President Ramaphosa is going to stand there and say that the African National Congress government has dealt with corruption, how can the president say the ANC has dealt with corruption when he himself is working with the people that have been named and shamed in the Zondo Commission? So there is no evidence that President Ramaphosa is actually doing something about corruption. I mean, when Ramaphosa became the president, one of the first things that he said was that I am going to strengthen NPA so that we can go after these corrupt guys. But 5 years into his administration, Ramaphosa and his team, they are still talking about strengthening the NPA. Everyone who was named and shamed in a Zondo Commission didn't see jail. No one was actually arrested for all those accusations that have been labeled against them in the Zondo Commission. So how can the president actually tell South Africans that he is dealing with corruption? I mean, like right now, it simply shows that President Ramaphosa is not serious about South Africans. He is not serious about dealing with corruption. Because if he was really serious about dealing with corruption, people like Nomvula Mkwenyane would be nowhere near ANC top 6. People like Nomvula Mkwenyane would actually be out there in the courts defending themselves. But right now, the same people are working with the president and the president says that he's working against corruption. So I will not go over everything that the president said yesterday. I'm just going to try to give my thoughts. I know that I'm going to be all over the place, but I hope that you guys can stay with me. President Ramaphosa said that the African National Congress loves people. The African National Congress cares for people, especially the poor black people in this country. He mentioned that 82% of young people have passed matric in South Africa. 82%. And as African National Congress, they're actually happy that the numbers of young people passing matric is going up. One thing that President Ramaphosa does not mention is that these young people are 30%ers. These young people are 30%ers. So even if you can have a 99% pass rate, you still have a bunch of uneducated people. This is something that the African National Congress does not want to admit. This is something that the African National Congress, I don't know if they don't understand it or they are pretending like they don't understand it. I think, again, this is the reason why most of these people in the government, their children are not even in South Africa. Their children are not studying in South Africa because they understand the kind of education system that has been fed by the African National Congress. Sticking with the education, guys, how can a president of a whole African National Congress be okay with the government giving people 30% education? This 30% education, young people in this country, they will never make any technological advances. Young people in this country, they will never compete with young people all over the world. African National Congress loves saying that we can be like China, we can transform our country like China, but they don't say anything about the education. How can you transform the education with a bunch of uneducated children? And to me, guys, this whole thing doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, and it feels like President Ramaphosa and the ANC, they actually hate young people. They hate young people in this country because right now they are talking about the social grants. They are talking about extending the social grants. We know what the social grants is doing to the people. I know they are saying that these social grants are actually helping people. President Ramaphosa said that we are helping people, man. We are actually helping people by giving them these 350s. And most of the people that are getting 350s are people who were working back then before COVID. So these people are now depending on the 350s. These are people who used to get decent salaries, but now they are depending on the 350 that have been given by President Ramaphosa. No one actually prioritizes the issue of job creation in South Africa. No one talks about the issue of job creation. Ramaphosa does not talk about the issue of job creation. Honestly, guys, yesterday I was so offended when the president said that we are empowering young people by giving them these 350s. How are you empowering young people by giving them 350s? Can someone please make sense to me? How can you actually empower someone by giving them 350? That person is not working. Young people right now, they are wasting their lives in the townships, in the neighborhoods. They are wasting their lives. They are doing nothing. These are people who are fresh. These are people who are able to work and they want to work, but they have to get these 350s because what can they do? What can they do? But if you were to talk with many of these young people in South Africa today, they would actually tell you that, man, I would prefer working for myself. I would prefer waking up in the morning, going to the job, because I know at least I have a chance of getting a decent salary. At least I can actually contribute in my home. But these young people, they feel hopeless. I mean, this is one of the reasons why young people are killing themselves so much in South Africa, is because young people are feeling hopeless. Young people are going to school. They have been told that there is money to take you guys to school. They are going to school, they are attaining their degrees, they are attaining their diplomas, but at the end of the day, these people are not finding any employment. So they end up depressed, they end up taking their lives, they end up turning as drug addicts or alcoholics, they end up killing each other in the streets because these people are depressed. So how can the president actually say that he is empowering young people by giving them 350s? How is this an empowerment of young people? How is a 350 an empowerment of young people? How about the job creation, man? As the president of the country, man, you've been talking about the investors coming into South Africa. You've been talking about the investors that want to put money into South Africa. But there is no evidence of the investors actually coming into South Africa. Because if there was any evidence of the investors coming into the country, the unemployment rate would go down. The unemployment rate would go down, but the unemployment rate keeps going up. It keeps going up. So what does it tell you? It tells you that the president is basically lying to the people when he say he and the African National Congress are actually working so hard to making sure that investors are coming to South Africa. I don't know how these people are honestly expecting to attract the investors to come into South Africa. Even like they cannot even give people sufficient electricity. They cannot even provide with the electricity. People in this country, they are paying for electricity, but there is no electricity in their homes. People in the country, they are paying for the electricity, but there is no electricity in their homes. You see this issue of load shedding, man. You know, out of all the issues that are facing the African National Congress, I thought there's one issue. It is one issue that is actually going to take down the African National Congress. But when you look at people, when you hear the people speak, people actually love load shedding. People love load shedding. People will tell you that I prefer the schedule from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. I prefer the schedule from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. But they are actually used to load shedding. And this is something that people were never supposed to get used to. But as we speak today, people are used to load shedding. And I can tell you, 2 months before the election, the African National Congress is going to get hold of load shedding. And people, by the time people go to the polls, no one would actually be thinking about this whole thing of load shedding. You think about what load shedding actually does. You know, these people, man, they don't actually talk about what load shedding actually does to people on their everyday basis. In the streets, people are being attacked. People who work in the wee hours, people who go to work in the wee hours, they are targeted because most of the time it's dark. People who come from work, most of the time they are targeted because out in the streets it is dark. People are losing their appliances. People are losing their microwaves. They are losing their stoves because of load shedding. People are losing their businesses. Men, in South Africa, there are no jobs. So young people are going out trying to start their small businesses. But their small business cannot succeed if they don't have electricity. And this is something that the African National Congress and President Ramaphosa are failing to acknowledge. They're failing to acknowledge that load shedding basically breaks down the country. It breaks down the country because it destroys even the small business sector. It destroys the small businesses that young people were encouraged to start. Young people, man, in this country, they know, majority of young people in this country, they know that there are no jobs in South Africa. Some of them who actually want to make something out of themselves, they start their own businesses. But these businesses cannot even survive. They cannot even survive because there is no electricity. They cannot even survive. I know of a lady who started the fish and chips takeaway shop. Her business actually went down. It went down because there's no electricity. And when there is no electricity, people actually want to go out and buy the fast food. People want to buy that. But when they get to these fast food joints, there is no electricity, meaning there is no food. So it is even destroying the small business sector. And these are things that all of these people in the administration of Ramaphosa, they are not talking of. Guys, I know many of us saw State of the Nation address. I honestly hope that the South Africans saw what President Ramaphosa thinks of themselves. President Ramaphosa was on stage laughing at South Africans, laughing. Some of his party members were laughing at President Ramaphosa when he was telling South Africans all these lies. So President Ramaphosa is telling South Africans that the public hospitals are working fine. People were laughing at him. His own comrades were laughing at him. President Ramaphosa said that he visited some of the people who were involved in that accident when the ANC did their rally in Limpopo. Ramaphosa said that he visited these people, and these people were put in a public hospital. And when Ramaphosa said, guys, do you mind going to the private hospitals? These people said, no, we would rather be here at the public hospitals. So President Ramaphosa is saying that our public hospitals are working. These people are completely out of touch with reality. When was the last time these people actually toured the hospitals in the townships? When was the last time these people actually saw by themselves how the clinics are in the townships? And for him to stand there and say that the public hospitals are working for the people of this country, it is shameful. It is shameful. I hope that South Africans saw what President Ramaphosa thinks about them. I hope the whole country saw what the African National Congress thinks about them. Guys, if you remember, a couple of days ago, the Deputy Secretary General of the African National Congress, Minister Bosasa, Minister Bosasa, this woman went on Newsroom Live. I'm talking about Nomvula Mkonyane. This woman went on Newsroom Live and told the South Africans that, guys, 30 years, it is not enough for the African National Congress to fix all of the historic problems that the country has faced. 30 years, it is not enough. And for the people who are bashing African National Congress about the fact that they've been in charge for 30 years, these people, man, they don't know what they are talking about, because the African National Congress never promised anyone that in 30 years your lives would be better. The ANC never said that in 30 years you would have good infrastructure. The ANC never said that in 30 years your children would be getting good education. The African National Congress never said that in 30 years you people would be finding employment. It is you who are imposing your will on the African National Congress, and the ANC, it is working. The ANC, it is working. Just yesterday, Lindiwe Zulu, the ANC Minister of Social Development, again was on Newsroom Live. And this woman say that the African National Congress is being loved by the people of this country. The people of this country, they love the ANC. And it is only the media that is talking bad about the African National Congress. She insists that the people of this country love the African National Congress. They appreciate the work of the African National Congress. And when she's been challenged, when she's been exposed with the stats, she says, no, this is the reason why the African National Congress has decided to embark on a renewal journey. So what is it exactly that these people are saying? Are these people telling South Africans that, guys, you need to wait for us so that we can fix ourselves and we can still govern over yourselves? You need to wait for us. You need to wait for the African National Congress to actually embark on this journey of renewal. This is what these people are thinking of you. These people, man, deep down in their hearts, they don't believe that 30 years was enough for them to actually turn things around. I already said it yesterday, guys. I said it would have made sense if these people would say that 30 years, it is not enough. If these people were actually doing something. It would have made sense if these people were creating employment. It would have made sense if the economy of this country was going up. It would have made sense if crime was being, or if crime and Begitele, the incompetent Begitele, if Begitele was actually dealing with crime, it would have made sense. But right now, you look at the 30 years of African National Congress, you look at their track record, and you look at how much the ANC has destroyed the country. And for these people to come and say that 30 years, it is not enough. It is not enough for what? Is it not enough for what? That's why I'm saying it would have made sense if this country was actually progressing and these people are coming out and saying, guys, we know that we are working so much for you, but 30 years, it is not enough. And you can see what we have already done. Young people are working in the country. Crime is under control in the country. It would have made sense to me. But the fact that crime is totally out of control, the fact that there is no unemployment, investors are leaving South Africa, there is load shedding, and these people are coming out and saying that 30 years, it is not enough for them. 30 years, it is not enough. What more do these people actually want from the people of South Africa? What more do these people want from the taxpayers of this country? I hope you people actually see what the African National Congress thinks about you. I hope that black people in this country can see what the African National Congress thinks about them. I hope they can see what the African National Congress thinks about them. The president is still talking about the infrastructures. You remember when he talked about the electricity, the smart city. President Ramaphosa is still talking about these fantasies. Even yesterday, he was talking that we're going to build this, we're going to build that. Ramaphosa has never built anything. We're going to build this, we're going to build that. He has never built anything. And for him to say that the African National Congress, I would take it easy on President Ramaphosa if the man would actually acknowledge the problems that are facing South Africa. I don't want to lie. I would actually take it easy on the president if the president was brave enough to say that, guys, the country is headed to a wrong way. The African National Congress has made a lot of mistakes. The African National Congress is sorry about destroying your lives. Many people would say, man, you cannot come here and say sorry because you have destroyed our lives. We are not even working today because of your incompetence. It is fine. But it would have made sense for the president to actually acknowledge what the country is. This is why yesterday I said that if you were watching State of the Nation address from the United States, from the UK, from Ghana, from everywhere else, if you didn't live in South Africa and not familiar with what is happening in the country, you would actually think that South Africa is a functioning country. The way President Ramaphosa presents South Africa to the world, you would say that South Africa is a functioning country. And I think it is a huge disservice to the people of this country to have a president saying that things are working in the country when people in the ground are saying that things are not working in the country. This is what Lindiwe Zulu said. Lindiwe Zulu is saying that, guys, ignore your reality. Things are working in the country. The African National Congress has done a lot for the people. People have benefited in South Africa, and that is because of the African National Congress. People, close your eyes. Do not see anything. Do not hear anything. Just know that the African National Congress has actually worked for you. This is what Ramaphosa is doing. This is what Ramaphosa is doing. So I find it very offensive for the president to stand in front of the nation and say that South Africa, it is a functional country. South Africa, it is not a functional country. It is not a functional country. These are the same people who come out and say that the African National Congress, it is the only party that is making sure that South Africans are united in the country. These are the same people, man, that blame apartheid at each and every turn. You saw that with President Ramaphosa yesterday. He's taking credit for some of the good things that have happened in South Africa, but all the bad things that have happened in South Africa, it is the fault of apartheid. The good things, yeah, we are taking credit for that. But the bad things in the country, it is the fault of apartheid. And I think you are being disingenuous with the people of this country, man, if you are going to present yourself like that. And I think at this point, the people of this country, they know what the President Ramaphosa thinks of them. They know how incompetent is the African National Congress. It's unfortunate that right now, as we speak, we have 30 million people depending on the social grants. And these people, they're being given the social grants by the ANC government, the same ANC government that goes around and telling them that, guys, if you don't vote for the ANC, you are going to lose the social grants. This is despite the political parties coming out and saying that we are not going to scrap the social grants. The Democratic Alliance came out and said that, man, there is no way the DA is going to scrap the social grants. The EFF came out and said there is no way the EFF is going to scrap the social grants. But the African National Congress doesn't care. They don't care because they understand that the majority of young people in this country, they are not educated. They know that the majority of the people in the country, they are living just to survive. So if someone says that if you vote for another political party, you are going to lose your social grants, these people, man, even if they know that the African National Congress is doing a terrible job, they are still going to go out and vote for the ANC. Why? Because these people, they are getting the social grants from the ANC, and it is 30 million of them. It is 30 million of them. I hope that you guys actually see what the African National Congress thinks about you. The African National Congress is laughing at you. They are laughing at you. You are paying the taxes. They are laughing at you. They have the best medical care. They have the best security. They are taking their children to overseas to study in overseas. They are not fighting for you to have the same. I will always criticize the opposition parties in parliament, all the opposition parties in parliament. With all the perks that you guys are enjoying in parliament, why are you not fighting for South Africans to actually have a fraction of what you people are enjoying. You are not fighting for South Africans to have a fraction of what you people are enjoying. And this shows that the opposition parties in South Africa, they are not serious. The opposition parties in South Africa, they are not serious. Even yesterday, when Ramaphosa was lying to the people of this country, the opposition parties was laughing. They was laughing with President Ramaphosa. And I felt sick in my stomach that these people are sent there in parliament by the people who oppose the African National Congress, by the people who don't want anything to do with the African National Congress. And for these people, man, to sit there and pretend to be honorable members of the parliament while the president is lying to them, man. Many people yesterday said that, guys, Thomas, I don't want to lie. You see that video that you did a couple of days ago saying that you support the EFF because you don't want the State of the Nation to happen. Many people actually came out yesterday and said that, Thomas, man, we share your sentiments. We miss the EFF. We cannot stand and watch President Ramaphosa. I was yesterday when the live stream was going, I was reading the chats. Many people were leaving the stream. The reason why people were leaving the stream is that people are saying that, man, we are sick and tired of listening to Ramaphosa. We are sick and tired of Ramaphosa saying the same things over and over again. We are sick and tired. People said actually they missed the EFF. They missed the EFF, and I think South Africans, whether they like it or not, they're going to have to appreciate the EFF, because when it comes to this thing of President Ramaphosa, you people will have to appreciate the EFF, because you know the EFF would have not sat there and allowed Ramaphosa to lie in front of everybody. You have your own political party that you love, but the EFF would have never allowed Ramaphosa to lie in front of everybody. They would have never allowed that to happen. All of the political parties in the parliament, they allowed that to happen. No one actually said, President, man, can you please stop? Can you please stop, man? Can you please stop lying to the people of this country, man? For once, please be honest with the people of this country. Be honest with the people of this country. There is not a single political party that actually said that to Ramaphosa. Not a single. People say that they miss TFF, man. I told you that you're going to miss Julius Malema. When I heard that the parliament was going to kick out the EFF out of State of the Nation address, man, I said that I am pissed off at these people, man, for kicking out Julius Malema and his team. Because we know, most of us, we watch State of the Nation for the entertainment purposes. But when it comes to this thing of President Ramaphosa keeps lying to the people of South Africa, this is where people actually miss the EFF. So if you are not a supporter of the EFF, you are a supporter of the DA, you are a supporter of Umkhonto weSizwe, a supporter of any political party, how do you feel to know that your members of parliament, the people that you sent to parliament to oppose Ramaphosa and not to allow Ramaphosa to lie to you? How do you feel that those people sat there and did nothing? How do you feel about the fact that those people, they sat there and they did nothing? So I was quite disgusted by President Ramaphosa's State of the Nation address yesterday. I thought that once the president would actually be honest with the people of this country. This is despite me coming out earlier and saying that President Ramaphosa was never going to say something new. But for some reason, I gave him that fraction of the benefit of the doubt, and Ramaphosa proved me wrong. I was right. This man was never even supposed to speak on the stage. He was never supposed to be allowed to speak on the stage. So guys, I don't know what you think about State of the Nation address. Please tell me what you think on the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button. And the most important part is subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.